I will be presenting many research findings for why I believe there was a deliberately caused and relatively recent cataclysm, which wiped the old world order off the face of the earth to be replaced by the new world order, and its nefarious agenda for total world control and domination of the earth, its people, and its resources. And I covered major players behind this agenda and its implementation in the first part of this series called Robber Barons and Resetters. The other two themed segments in this series are on giants and the energy grid. I'm going to bring forward other evidence that I have found in the course of my research and experience to support my belief that the sinking of Atlantis happened relatively recently in Earth's history and not thousands of years ago, and that the Atlantean civilization was the same as the worldwide ancient advanced Moorish civilization that first originated in the time of ancient Mu, or Lemuria, and existed until relatively recently. I believe the beings behind this cataclysm were shovel-ready to dig enough of the original infrastructure out of the ruined Earth so they could be used and civilization restarted, which I think started in earnest in the mid to late 1700s and early 1800s. Then the controllers only used the pre-existing infrastructure until they found replacement fuel sources that could be monetized and controlled by them. And when what remained of the original infrastructure was no longer useful to them or inconvenient to their agenda, they had it destroyed, discontinued, abandoned, or repurposed, typically in a very short time after it was said to have been constructed in our historical narrative. There is plenty of underground infrastructure worldwide for not only those that desired a global takeover, but for surviving original people to live in as well, where many places on the Earth's surface would otherwise have been uninhabitable. The controllers were people like John D. Rockefeller, a co-founder of Standard Oil Company in 1870, along with Henry Flagler, roughly a decade after the birth of the oil industry at Titusville in Pennsylvania in 1859. Standard Oil co-founder John D. Rockefeller Sr. was born in the United States in 1839 and was the progenitor of the wealthy and powerful Rockefeller family. He was considered to be the wealthiest American of all time, as seen in this ranking by CNN Business. Rockefeller's wealth soared as kerosene and gasoline grew in importance. At his peak, he controlled 90% of all oil. As quickly as possible, a way was found to replace what remained of the free energy system with our own coal and oil-based system, and in the process make money hand over fist from the total control of the new system. My starting point for this video on the cataclysm is taking a look at what is found along the same stretch of highway, U.S. Highway Route 219, between the boggy Black Moshannon State Park near State College, Pennsylvania, and the Bogs at Cranberry Glades Botanical Area near White Sulphur Springs in West Virginia. Black Moshannon State Park is the home to the largest reconstituted bog in Pennsylvania, a wetland that accumulates peat as a deposit of dead plant materials, which contains carnivorous plants, orchids, and species typically found further north. Cranberry Glades, protected in the Cranberry Glades Botanical Area, are a cluster of 5 separate boreal-type bogs in southwestern Pocahontas County in West Virginia, and like Black Moshannon State Park, species are found at both these locations that are typically found further north. That both of these boglands have species typically found further north may signify some kind of north-to-south movement of land through this geographic region in the Appalachian Mountains. Here is a comparison of the intriguing appearance of the landscape here as seen from Google Earth on the left, compared with photos of mudflows on the right. US 219, upon which both of these places are located, was said to follow what was known as the Seneca Trail, a network of trails of unknown age used by indigenous Americans for commerce, trading, and communication. The Seneca Trail ran through the Appalachian Valley from what was to become Upper New York State and went well into Alabama, though they are described to us in our historical narrative strictly as footpaths. What we are told is that by the time the land was settled by Europeans, starting in the 18th century, it was largely abandoned by its previous inhabitants. Some other things Black Moshannon and Cranberry Glades have in common are as follows. Both locations have S-shaped river bends and airports nearby, with the name of the parks notated by an oval, the airports by a box, and the river bends are pointed at by arrows.